Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. I feel like it's been a long time since I've done an actual sit down video, but today I woke up and I was like, girl, it's time to get on your Zoom. What are we doing? So here I am filming a story time. As you guys can tell by the title, today's story time is I moved to Texas with no plan. And if you know me, you know that's kind of not out of the ordinary for me. Like, I'm not really a planner. So the biggest thing though was that I did move from my hometown after talking about it for a very long time. Let's go ahead and get into it. And I do want to do a disclaimer and just basically say that this is just my story. This is not to give tips on how to move with no plan. This is not to say, oh, pack up and move out of your hometown with no plan. This is just my story. Maybe it can inspire someone. If you take something from my story, please comment down below and let me know. So if you guys didn't know and you're new here, I'm Lonnie, also known as Lonnie24K, and I just moved from my hometown, Florida, that I lived there for what, 23 years, and I just moved to Houston, Texas. I do have 2 kids. I am a single mom. I did bring my kids with me, and yeah, I packed up and I left. I just did it. I do want to say that I have talked about moving for a very long time. Probably since I was in high school, I wanted to move away from my hometown. I am from a very small town, and it's just not a lot to do there. It's not a lot going on there. And I knew from a very young age that I wanted to do something that was in like the spotlight. You know, like I knew I wanted to do something that was in the spotlight, something that required me to be in a bigger town, but I never knew exactly what. And so over the time, I kind of just got accustomed to living in my hometown, talked myself out of it. Family, like my grandmother, I didn't want to leave her, so after she ended up passing away, then I still kind of talked myself into living there, and here we are, 2023. I didn't plan it out, I didn't think about it, I just up and did it. In June of this year, I came to Texas just to visit. I was in a difficult space in my life where I was going through kind of like a toxic relationship. I just had a baby, and I was like, you know, I need a break. I'm really stressed out here, like I'm going through a lot. Came to Houston to visit for just a couple of weeks, and my couple of weeks ended up turning into me really enjoying it. My couple of weeks turned into me really enjoying it, and then I ended up really having to think about if I wanted to move here, because my sister lived here already. She would always try to get me to move to Atlanta. So she used to live in Atlanta, and she used to always try to get me to move to Atlanta, and I used to always want to move to Atlanta. Like, that was my #1 place that I wanted to move to. It was like 4 hours away from my hometown, and you know, it was just more convenient. I was used to it. I was comfortable there. I had been there many times. So I had been to Houston a couple times before, but never to like really stay and visit for a long time. I would always go to parties. So coming out here on a family tip just to feel the vibe out and get to know the area a little bit better, I was like, I really enjoy it. I enjoy it here. I missed being around my sister. As you guys know, when you're going through like a toxic relationship or a breakup, having that family, that sister there just to, you know, be there for you, it really makes a difference. So I started to think long and hard, like, do I really want to move out here? Like, is this something that I truly want to do? I did ask my daughter because she is older, so I did want to get her opinion into consideration. I didn't just want to uproot her and leave from where she's comfortable as well if she was very against it. And she was down for the count, you know, she liked it out there as well. And I made a pros and a cons list, and fortunately my pros outweighed my cons of moving to Texas. Within the summertime, I went back home to my apartment in Florida. I packed my stuff. I stayed for what, like a weekend. I packed my stuff, and it was very bittersweet. I'm not gonna say that it was the easiest decision, because it wasn't. I cried on the ride from Houston to Florida. I cried while I was home. It was just so bittersweet, and I might cry now because I'm a crybaby, if you guys didn't know. A very hard decision. It was hard for me to pack up my apartment because I had just moved into my apartment in Florida. So it was hard for me to pack up my apartment in Florida and just, you know, say goodbye to my loved ones and my friends there. Although I was not in the best mental place when I was home. I packed up, I put my stuff in the storage, and I got in my car and I drove to Houston. I drove with my little baby because I brought my little baby back, but my 9-year-old stayed in Texas with my sister. Wow. That was something. Now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. That car ride was something else. So it's about a 9-10 hour drive. Of course, it was probably about it was probably like an 11-12 hour drive for me. Maybe like 11, because I stopped often to take the baby out, to go to the bathroom. It was late, very, very late when I left. So we left Florida maybe around 8, 9 at night. And then we got to Texas at 10 in the morning. Or maybe it was like 9 or 10 in the morning. And so that was a long, long drive. That was a long drive, and I'm gonna insert some clips from me packing up and moving in our road trip a little bit. I packed my stuff up and I moved here, and then of course I moved in with my sister, which going from living by yourself to living with someone is definitely an adjustment, but it's something that you know that, oh, you have to get back to this. So I knew that my main goal was to find a job, get an apartment, and go from there, you know, like get an apartment. That was like number one. Like, girl, we got to get an apartment because it's hard going from living by yourself, it's your house rules, to now you have to adjust to someone else's rules, the way they live. It's a lot. And then I didn't know how I was going to be living with my sister because we're totally opposite. We're not like totally opposite, but we're definitely opposite. So I was like, whew, I don't know how this gonna be, you know, I'm on a mission. So I started looking for a job. I knew that I wanted to get into the nightlife in Texas, so I started looking for a nightlife job. I ended up starting a nightlife job, and then I began to meet like new people, which was something that I wanted to do when I moved out here. It was like one of my goal lists is to just meet new people and just be open to meeting new people, because I'm so closed off when it comes to that sense of meeting new people. I'm just like scarred from past dealings and situations that I've been in. I'm so against it. Understand that, you know, you can meet someone and they don't have to be your buddy best friend. I started a new job. I met lots of people, and I stacked my money and I got me an apartment in Texas. So that probably took me about October. I moved in my apartment October. So it took me about 3 months to get an apartment. It is very extensive to get an apartment here. They're like very paperwork this. Like, it's like a lot. It's a lot. For me. To me, it's a lot. I did have anxiety about moving from a small state to a big state because it's just so different. It's like you know that stuff can happen in a small town, but then when you move to a big town, it's like 10 times worse. Like, oh my god, this is, you know. And then the way that I used to move in my small town that I'm comfortable with, that I know a lot of people, I can't really move like that here. Definitely an adjustment going from a small town to a bigger one, but it's a cool one too. You meet a lot of people. It's definitely ideal for opportunities. One thing that I would say helped me throughout this whole process of just picking up and moving from where I was so comfortable from is just staying positive throughout this whole process. You really have to find the positives, and that just goes with anything in life. You have to find the positives through what you're doing. You have to remember your why. There were so many times I was homesick. There were so many times I cried at night. So many times I called my parents and I'm just like, I'm so sad. I remember calling my dad and I'm just like, I'm so sad. Like, I really miss home. I don't know if I made the right decision, especially being a mom and both of my kids' dads are in Florida. I I did kind of feel like I was kind of taking them away from their dads. But for me, it was like, I have to do this to better myself. You know, I have to do this to take care of y'all kids. Like, you want your kids to have the same mother that's gonna take care of them. Like, this is what it's gonna take for me. I knew that leaving my hometown, getting out of my comfort zone, was gonna be that next step for me to take to level up myself. And then also, you're so free from the distractions that you had back at home. And while you may gain new distractions, it's like you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. You're pushing yourself out of somewhere that you've known for so long, and it's scary. It's very scary. But then you go to a new town, no one knows you. You get to rewrite your narrative. For me, back home, I was known as the girl who had a baby at 13. That's what everyone knew me for. Every time you associated my name with, okay, oh you know Lonnie? Oh, Lonnie, the YouTube girl. Oh, Lonnie, the YouTube girl who had a baby young, like moving to Texas. It's like I get to rewrite my own narrative. I'm not Lonnie who had the baby young. I'm just Lonnie. I'm Lonnie. Nice to meet you, Lonnie. And then whatever people may perceive of me, you know? But I think that's all for me, guys. I think that's really it. Like, I say, if you're thinking about leaving your hometown, or you've been thinking about it for a while, or you're wondering if it's the right decision, you should make out a pros and cons list. Decide on your reason why. What is your reason why you want to leave, you want to move? And while it may be easier to just, for sure it'll be easier and better to come up with a plan before just leaving and moving, but also remember that it's okay with just doing it. It's okay with just up and leaving. I feel like there are things that I have learned here in Texas that I would have never known had I stayed in my small town at all. Things I would have never experienced if I would have stayed in my small town, in my comfort zone. And then you learn to make home where you are. And I miss home, back home, a lot. I think that's all, guys. That's my story time. That was like a really short story time, but I've been wanting to share that for a minute because I used to watch videos all the time about people who would just leave their hometown and move away. It's scary, but you can do it. You can do it. There's nothing that you can't do. And just remember, if you can make it in your hometown, you can make it anywhere. You can make it anywhere. You gotta choose your hard. You wanna have a hard life in your hometown where the opportunities may not be as better at, or you just wanna leave. Like, let's just say you wanna live in Miami. Fucking do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Why would you live your whole life to think, what if I would have lived in Miami? What if I would have moved to California to pursue my dreams? What if? Don't be the what ifs. Be the, I'm gonna do that shit. Because you're gonna do that shit. And yeah, that's all for my TED Talk today, guys. That's gonna be all for my video today. If you are OG Lonnie Gang, I love you. Thank you for tuning in as always. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have more Lonnie Gang members. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. It's Kason and Mommy. It's Kason and Mommy. Hey, Wasted. Hey. Say, we're packing again. I said I wasn't gonna vlog, but somebody just told me to vlog, so here we are. I am packing up my house in Florida, y'all, because I'm moving to Texas, baby. I'm moving to Texas. If you would have seen me just a couple of days ago when I first got back to Florida, I was boo-hoo crying. I was so sad. I was just a mess, okay? Not ready to really leave Florida. You know, just really sad about it. It was a big decision to make, and it wasn't an easy decision to make, but you know, I need a new start. I need a fresh start. I need a new start. It's nothing here for me. Time for me to go. It's time for me and my kids to start fresh, you know? I'm excited about moving to a new city, starting fresh. No one knows me. It's not so much pressure of who I used to be. I get to make my own story out here. It's not, oh, I'm the girl who had a baby young, because no one knows me. So I'm really excited. I'm very scared. I'm very nervous. You guys probably will not find out about this until I move into my new apartment in Houston. But I'm just gonna save this footage so that I have it. Hopefully I do not forget, because I normally be forgetting, and I have to raise my kids and my Hey. Hey. Yo, look at me. Literally was standing up. Hey. You want to be on camera? You want to be on camera? Yeah. Houston, make some room for Lonnie 24K.